Today we are discussing business and risks. Our guest tonight is the CEO of the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda, Alhaj Ibrahim Lubega Kaddunabbi. Haji, before we broke off, you were still exploring some of the effects that COVID-19 has had on the sector. One of my questions would be, we've seen, now looking at the continent, we've seen one of the excuses that has come up from the sector players has been that COVID-19 is not amongst, is not a policy that is covered or wasn't envisioned in the healthy medical policies that are available. And as a result, families and people are now battling companies in court for them to be compensated or paid. How can we move out of this as people that are interested in insurance?
As I said earlier, in Uganda, we agreed with the players that under standard policy, COVID-19 wouldn't be covered because it is a pandemic. And the reason why insurance does not cover pandemics is because of the magnitude. You may need to note that when insurance is being done, there must be professionals who are called actuaries who must compute exactly how much money should someone pay, and in the case of a claim, what would be the payouts. Now, because of the magnitude, the pandemics are normally excluded. But the insurance industry in Uganda and ourselves, we sat down and agreed that really insurance, COVID is a pandemic, but we can cover it. And we also made sure that they hold discussions with the reinsurers to ensure that this is covered. What it has helped is to make a point that when you are in need, insurance is there. And as I was saying earlier on, the president instituted a team to start collecting or mobilizing resources to help government to intervene during COVID. If the government or the country had the national health insurance scheme in place, we wouldn't need it, because insurance could have come in already, and everybody could just walk into his medical provider and he would be paid and would be treated and paid. So what we are also saying is that COVID has been good in a way that it has taught us that we need to have insurance at all times. We need to have insurance like people are losing their jobs. You may need to know that when you lose your job, your policy of a group personal accident can cover you. There is a policy of a life which can also cover you. And when you lose maybe income, you see many of the employers have had to cut down the salaries of their employees in order to cope up. The policy could be there to help, and now insurance would be paying. What I want to inform many of our people, Ugandans, at least there is a law like the Workers' Compensation Act. Many of the employers do not take up Workers' Compensation Act. First of all, it is against the law, but two, even if it wasn't a law, it is good for your employees. And I want to encourage employees and employers to make sure that these policies like Workers' Compensation Act are taken up.
You make a very good point with the National Health Insurance Scheme Bill, but it is still gathering dust on the shelves of Parliament. What are you as a regulator in this industry doing to advocate for it, to ensure that it is actualized?
First of all, we have interacted with the honorable members of Parliament. We have given them our views and our request. We have also had an opportunity to interact with His Excellency the President. We have also given him our views on the National Health Insurance Scheme. We have interacted with the Ministry of Health. We have given them our views. I have dedicated my staff to give support to the Ministry of Health to see that they come up with the figures which are realistic and statistically supported, to see that this National Health Insurance Scheme can become a law. I just want to request our leaders, the members of parliament, the ministers, the president, and everybody to really see the good things in the National Health Insurance Scheme and fast track it, and it becomes a law, because you may need to pick lessons from our neighbors who are already doing a good job with the National Health Insurance Scheme.
Not that I hold views against it, but me and you are aware that elsewhere in the world it has quoted a bit of controversy. The argument with capitalists is that why would I put money in the pool for you who, the mentality is you who does not want to work, so that when you fall sick you're able to access medical care. The clear examples like their Obamacare. Probably you need to highlight the importance of having a universal health coverage scheme.
What needs to be done, first of all, understand that National Health Insurance Scheme should not be treated as a tax. It shouldn't. It should be a service. And if I put in more money, I should access more facilities. I cannot access the same facilities like someone who puts in a little money. And when that is done, it will make sure that people now start appreciating it as a benefit to them, and they will appreciate it. I don't, and because you haven't fallen sick, it doesn't mean that you have put in money for Kaddunabbi to fall sick and goes to hospital. No, when you also fall sick and you claim much more than what you put in, is when you realize that it is critical that you take up insurance.
Moving on, what are the other challenges that you're facing as a regulator in the sector?
As a regulator in the sector, I cannot say that we face challenges, but we face them as we solve them, because that's why we are here. And what I can say is that our mother ministry, which is Ministry of Finance, the board of IRA, and the insurance players have all been supportive. I can say that we used to have a challenge of lack of public awareness, but we have dedicated money to that front, and we have gone out to educate people what insurance does and how it can be done best. And this is working out very well. We have also seen that we used to have a challenge of capacity, that much of the business which was underwritten was being offloaded outside the country. That has already been worked on, and we have changed now the minimum capital which is required. And as I told you earlier on, we are now also doing the risk-based capital and risk-based underwriting, which makes sure that the much the capital you put in, the more money you will make and the more business you will make. We have had earlier on also a problem of lack of trained manpower. You may need to note that we have now put up the Insurance Training College. A law was passed, and it is now doing capacity building. It is doing capacity building to the insurance people. It is doing capacity building to the people in the Retirement Benefits Authority, among others, and the Capital Markets Authority, and many others. Indeed, what was a challenge before has been solved. People were having challenges of accessing how to pay and how to make sure that what they have paid for is the correct amount, we have enhanced online payment platforms. And we are working with other stakeholders. We are working with the police, we are working with the URA, and many other stakeholders are on board, and we are moving on well.
You talked of growth, but me and you must agree that probably information and knowledge about insurance is more scanty out there. Yes, in Kampala there might be awareness, but outside Kampala, information and knowledge is a bit scanty. How can you create more awareness across the board?
We are creating awareness in many ways, and as I told you earlier on, we are partnering with many other stakeholders as we are rolling out the agriculture insurance, the SACCOs, the micro finance support center, and many other agencies and the cooperative have been engaged.
Haji, what are some of the other insurance packages that are on the Ugandan market?
There are so many insurance products on the market. There is what I have talked about, the agriculture insurance, the medical insurance, there is motor comprehensive insurance, there is fire insurance, burglary insurance, workers' compensation insurance, group personal accident insurance, and many others.
The list might be endless, but my interest is in what has been the uptake of agricultural insurance in Uganda.
The uptake of agriculture insurance is also very promising. As we speak now, more than 100,000 Ugandans have already taken up agriculture insurance, and the government of Uganda, as you may be aware, provided a subsidy, an agriculture subsidy. When you buy insurance, government pays part of the premium which you ought to have paid. I have just been going through the figures now, and we are requesting the ministry to provide more money because the money they provided in this budget has already been exhausted. So very many people now are taking up agriculture insurance, and that to us is a very good thing, and we expect even more growth this year.
Many of, whereas some sector players are listed on the stock exchange market, others are not, locally and internationally. But there is a confidence that people, clients gain from knowing that I can buy into my own insurance company. What are you doing as a company to ensure that you boost growth in this particular area?
Okay, true. Some companies have listed and others have not yet listed. Indeed, as a regulator, we encourage listing because what it means, you are providing confidence or more confidence to the people who are buying your insurance products. They know how you operate, and you'll go back to them to tell them how the business moved. And that, to us, gives us an opportunity that there is another check. Other than the insurance regulator, even the public checks your company. We have developed the regulations, and the regulations which we have developed do encourage people to list, or the insurance companies to list. When they list, there are many benefits which they get. And you may also need to know that we have held a discussion with the Capital Markets Authority and Uganda Retirement Benefits Authority with a view of seeing how can the insurance companies list on the stock exchange, and many other opportunities to be done.
As we are stepping out, I would be interested in knowing, you're one of the agencies that have appealed the decision of government to merge some of the entities. The proposal was that Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda should be merged with the Bank of Uganda. Why and with government, it's with good reason, but you've appealed this decision. Why has this been so, and what are the risks in there that you're raising?
Because government was clear that it is doing the merging because they want to remove duplication. I want to confirm that no other agency is doing the supervision and regulating the insurance fraternity in Uganda. It is only the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda. 2, government is doing it in order to cut costs. You may need to recall that they said close to 998 billion will be saved. Government is not giving the Insurance Regulatory Authority any money. So even if you leave IRA as IRA or you put it anywhere, you are not doing anything. And that is the very reason why we are saying, what have we managed to achieve when we became independent? The record is clear. When this was being done by the Ministry of Finance and when we became independent, we have achieved much. And those were strongly the reasons why we think that we need to remain independent. And I'm hopeful that cabinet and government will hear us and we will remain independent. We have also shown that we are resilient. We have put up a 12-storied building. Actually, it is a 14-storied building with 2 parkings. That means that we are independent and we can remain so.
Alhaj, your parting shot about insurance as we step out.
I want to first of all thank you, Nicholas, and the entire management of Urban TV for giving us this opportunity. And I want to encourage the people viewing us that it is important. If you have anything of value, insure it. And someone was saying, if you love me or you love it, insure it. Thank you very much.